All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Team Vibe with Me and Team Wonderful and Well team call. Lots of teams there. It is Wednesday, April 24th. We are close to the end of the month, but it's not the end. It doesn't mean you just stop now. There is still so many more days to go. I'm always pushing right to the end. I know Allison is always pushing right to the end because even if you do hit Success Club, it's like, well, okay, what's next? Like, there is still more to be done, whether you start chasing rank, you start chasing volume. Like it never ends, really. Like, that's what this is. And that's kind of what I wanted. Like, I just felt this fire today to talk about why you're not reaching your goals, and I made a post about it yesterday when it came to like health and fitness goals or something, like why people don't reach their goals. And it just kind of was like, well, this is exactly, I can relate it to our coaching team as well. So that main post was people wait, like in the health and fitness journey, people wait to start something. And what I think the issue is with coaches not hitting their goals is pretty similar. They wait as well, or they just kind of expect it to be easier, but it's not. And I just really one thing I definitely want to start with this is so the title of this is like why you're not reaching your goals. Why you're not reaching your goals. Number one is because you're not treating this like a business, because you guys, that's what it is. And we are never here to press our goals onto you. We're never here to tell you to run your own business. But if you tell us you have specific goals, we're going to tell you how to get there. And if you want to be just a hobby coach, that's fine. Treat this like a hobby. That is totally cool. A hobby is fun, right? Hobby is just something you dabble in, something you do for fun. If you're treating this like a business, it's work. It has to take work. It does take work. And you have to put in the work. You have to earn everything. It doesn't just come to you. It's not just handed to you. You can't just put up a post and expect people to comment below info. You can't just put up a poll and expect people to click yes or no for more info. Like, you have to put in the behind the scenes work. So the number one of why you're not reaching your goals is because you're not treating this like a business. You treat it like a hobby, it's going to pay you like a hobby. If you treat it like a business, it's going to pay you like a business, right? So get super honest with yourself. And I want you to think about if you are just doing this as a hobby or if you're actually treating this like a business. And think about what you want from this. Do you want this to just be a fun hobby that you dabble in? Or do you want this to actually be your full-time income? Do you want this to help you quit your job? Like, if so, you have to treat it that way. And that means showing the fuck up. So that's number two of why you're not reaching your goals. You're not showing up. You're not doing anything. You're not doing the behind the scenes work of it's the tedious, unsexy things. Like, everyone sees the trips we go on and all that stuff. That stuff is fun. That is sexy. Those are rewards for doing the unsexy thing. So you cannot just sign up to be on the waiting list for the Success Club trip and never hit Success Club. Like, you're not going to get invited on if you don't at least hit Success Club for 1 month. And that's not just like getting 2 points here, 2 points there. It's actually getting 5 points or more in 1 month. That is Success Club. So that's number two, why you're not hitting your goals. You're not doing the actual work. You're not doing any of the behind the scenes stuff. You're getting caught up in posting on social media, like the fun stuff, but you're not doing any of the actual work, which is connecting with people, going out and finding followers. Like, we have all had to do it. And gut check for me, I have to go do it again because I haven't been doing that for a while. Like, the algorithms are always changing. So Instagram is always changing. That Facebook is always changing. Whereas before, it was a lot easier for people to find you. Whereas now there is more of a fight for attention. So you have to go find your people. So I've talked about this before. Allison has used it. I've used one before as well, a follower app where you sign up with a company and you have them find people for you. If you're someone who is doing this, like a lot of us are when we first start out, doing this with other jobs, you have to put your time on the big things that are going to move you forward, the business building activities, which is the inviting, the messaging, the following up, the finding followers. Yes, that is good, but you can delegate that. You can give that to someone else to do. And it honestly takes so much stress off. Like, I went up, like I paid for it was $80 for 2 months with Tag Scout, and I got like 1,000 followers in 2 months. So it's worth, and I didn't have to go out and find any of them. All I had to do was send them a message and focus on the conversations, because that's where you need to be. Someone else can go follow them. You're the one who has to be the face and has to actually have the conversation. So that's number two, is you're not doing any of the behind the scenes work. Number three is you are analysis paralysis. So you're listening to too many podcasts, you're reading too many books, you are watching too many training videos, you're doing so much and you're like, I have so many different coaches' perspectives, so many books that tell me to do different things. Where do I start? You're having that analysis paralysis and you're just not doing anything. And I know exactly how that feels because it happens to me a lot still too. Like like mine isn't like information overload. I get like analysis like of overwhelm kind of thing where I just stop and I don't do anything. So there's different forms of it. Like I start over analyzing myself. Like, am I not good anymore? Am I not able to have conversations? Why aren't people buying from me? Like I still have those issues with myself too. So there's different type of analysis paralysis, but that is the number 3 reason of why you're not hitting your goals, because you're consuming too much and you're not doing anything with it. You're not taking action on it. You're being a sponge, and cool, you're going to know a lot of information, but like, who's building their business? The person who is actually out there doing the work, or the person who's sitting at home watching 3 training videos that are an hour long each, right? So cut that. I listen to podcasts like while I'm doing other things, of course, like to fill the space. And I only sit down and watch like one training video every other day or every day or something like that. And that's just like 45 minutes to an hour. And then I move on. I don't sit there and watch a bunch in a row. Not saying anyone does, but that can really suck you down a wormhole of you saying, oh, I'm doing work. I'm watching calls. This is work, right? So that leads me to number 4 is you're doing busy work. So busy work is the posting on social media, the watching team calls, the stuff that like is still check marks, like reading personal development, doing your workout, getting your shake. That's still like, you know, the 4 vital behaviors, but those are the fun ones, right? So if you're not actually doing the real work, you're just doing busy work. So it's like, oh, you feel like you've done so much, but you really haven't done anything. Like, and I'm get like, the reason why I'm saying this all to you guys is because this is stuff that I have also done too. This is stuff that I have struggled with, but the whole point of having a coach and a mentor is so that they can help you to not make their same mistakes. You're going to make your own, but at least I can say, hey, I did this too, so this is how you can get past it, right? And that leads me to number 5, I believe we're on, which is you're not being coachable. You're not listening to what your coach is saying. You're not actually doing what your coach is saying. Like, I'm not your boss, so I'm not going, like, I have the group chat going with all of us so we can all be business partners, so we can keep each other accountable. Like, I'm always talking with Allison one-on-one. I'm always talking with Amanda one-on-one, and we actually talk back and forth and strategize. And of course, we ask each other questions, and still I want Amanda's mentorship and Allison still wants mine. But you get to a certain point where you have to realize you're not a brand new coach anymore. You are worthy. You are capable of being a business partner with me. You just have to step into the role, and you have to be coachable. So that's a big one, because if your coach says do this, like, that's why I got to where I am today, because everything Amanda said, told me to do, I did it. So that's why I was her first 1-star diamond. I'm her first 2-star diamond. You know, like, I am the first person on her team to have my own diamond, you know, to have Allison's about to be our first 1-star diamond. And that's because she has listened to everything I have told her to do. Everything that I've done, she's done it in her own way, of course, but she's listened to all of it, you know, and I still learn from her, you know. That's the thing. You get to a point where you become business partners in all of this. And that's what I want for all of us. Like, I don't have to stay at the top. I tell you what to do so that you can come up to my level. Get on my level, bro. So that's the number 5 right there, is you're not being coachable. You're not actually listening to what your coach says. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, like, there's a little bit of a disconnect. Not of many of the people that we have on our team right now, but before, it's kind of like, well, you're kind of being like my boss. Like, because I know I'm a rebel and I don't like having a boss, but I like having a mentor. I like having a team to do this with. So, get up, rise up, get on our level, and be a business partner in this with us. So those are the main 5. That's pretty much it. Like, that's exactly it. So number 1 is, oh fuck, I say them all and then I forget. You wrote it down, right, Catherine? Number 1 is, oh fuck, I should have wrote it down. Anyways, rewatch this, you get it. So just number 1 is you're not treating this business like a business. You're treating it just like a hobby. You're dabbling in it. It's fun and it's fine. And that's totally okay. You need to get honest with yourself if that's what you want this to be. And you need to get honest with your coaches, because we don't want to push you to do anything to where this isn't fun for you anymore. Because as soon as you lose the fun and the joy out of it, it becomes work, you know, and then it becomes draining, and you're kind of like, this is too hard, too much push. And we don't want to push you. We want to guide you. Like, we want to take you by the hand and walk with you in this. So next thing is, you're watching too much content, your analysis paralysis, or you're not, no, number 2 is you're not showing up. You're not doing the actual work. You're not like signing, you're not talking to people, you're not inviting people, you're wasting time on the busy things. That was number 3, is like the fun social media stuff. You're just absorbing so much, which is number 4, analysis paralysis. You're watching all the team calls. And I listen to podcasts all the time, and Melanie Mitchell was really great when she had one of her girls, I forget her name, spoke on this, where she said she was watching all the team calls, doing all of this, but she's like, after a while, like, you have to find what works for you. Like, it's good to watch these trainings, but you have to put it in your own language and actually take action on it. So what she had done was she had all of these, and I have them too. I'm guilty of it as well. You have all these videos saved on your Facebook that you're going to go back and watch. She had like 200 videos saved. Do you know how long it would take you to go through those 200 videos? And she said the one day she just woke up and she's like, fuck this. And she canceled, she deleted, like exited all of them out from her saved files, and just read like one book that spoke to her. And it wasn't even like reading the books that the other Beachbody coaches read. Like, it was, personal development is personal to you, right? It doesn't have to be something that I say. If I think it'll help you, sure, look it up and research it yourself. But like, I love You Are a Badass. Allison didn't, so we don't all have the same needs, speak the same language. So find what works for you. But like, how about you go a week without, if you're someone who watches, like I said, 3 training videos in a day, how about you go 3 days without watching a training video and use that time to put into your business? Because we have Team Dreamcatchers calls, this call here, Danielle and Tony's. Those are 3 calls. If you want, you can get on them live. If not, I would challenge you to even just watch 1 call a week and see how much time you have. It's not like you're going to be running out and like you're failing because you're not watching a team call or listening to the national wake up call or whatever. You still can do that when you have the free time for it and after you have done your actual work. That's something that I have really had to kick my butt into, is I get caught up in like the busy fun part of watching videos. Like, I can watch training videos all day, take notes. That's awesome. I feel so empowered. Then it's like, shit, that's 2 hours. And now I don't have time to actually work. So work first, do your to-do list, get your shit done, and then watch the videos, right? That's what I had to do with myself when I like was getting, I still do that with my Netflix like obsession. I will get my work done and then I will use my Netflix as like a treat. Like, I'll watch that. Like, okay, once you get all your work done, then you can watch Netflix, or like work all day and then you can shut down at 9 o'clock and watch Netflix for the rest of the night. Like, you have to give yourself those like little rewards to just get your shit done. That's the main thing, is just, you got to get it done. And number 5 is you're not coachable. You're not listening to what your leaders are saying, what your coaches are saying to do. If you want to be where we're at, why would you not listen to what we did? And why would you not do it? Right. And I think that's a really big thing. And I know this business isn't like, it's not hard, but it's not easy, like, or it's not hard, but it's not easier. It's easy to do. It's easy to do, but it's easy not to do as well. You can say all those little back and forth word thingies. But what it comes down to is just doing the freaking work, because nothing changes if you don't change. Nothing works if you don't work. You treat this like a hobby, you're going to get paid like a hobby. If you treat it like a business, you're going to get paid like a business. So you need to, I would definitely suggest reevaluating your goals and reevaluating why you're doing this, what you want from this, and then reverse engineer and tell us. Like, we're not going to be mad at you. It's going to probably be a little bit sad if like we thought you were going to be one of the running leaders, but if you're not, that's totally fine, because this is your business, right? Like, it's your business. You have to run it how you want to and how you need to. But let us in on that as well. Don't ever be afraid to talk to your coach, because we know each other enough now on a personal basis where you can talk to us about that. Like, I've had rock star coaches come and go as well. Like Sabrina, who was one of our diamonds, she came and like got there and like dove right into diamond within like 6 weeks, and then was like, you know what, I don't think I can keep it up, and I don't think I really want to do it anymore. It broke my heart, but we move on, say la vie, like, things happen. I know what my path is in this, and I know that I'm not going anywhere, but it honestly isn't for everybody. It really isn't. But if you never try to see, you'll never know, right? And you're just going to go, oh, it's too hard. And then I'm going to ask you, like, what are you doing behind the scenes? Like, if it's not working for you, what are you actually doing though? And if you, like, we come into this, we're a fitness business first. So starting with the fitness, we do our 4 vital behaviors, like drinking our shakes, getting our workouts in, follow the nutrition plan. What if you put as much energy into those 3 things as you did into your coaching, into the actual business part? How much growth would you get if you put that much focus, love, and attention into it? You think it might actually work that way, right? Like if you're doing a workout program and if you're not doing the nutrition plan, it won't work as well, right? So if you are doing your business work and you leave one part out of it, like, so if you're showing up on social media, but you're not having any of the conversations or inviting, it's not going to work. It's the same thing. So you really have to draw that connection that your fitness aspect is the same as your business aspect. Cat. You treat them the same and they will both grow. Like, we are just normal people leading from example, trying to help people live their best freaking lives, right? Like, that's what we need to remember. Yes, this is a business. Yes, there is a possibility to make income. There is rank. There is Success Club numbers. There is all that stuff. But what I want you to think about is think about yourself as if you were actually like a personal trainer in a gym. If you were a fitness instructor in a gym and you had to talk to people, like you had to bring people in and had to get clients, like it's the exact same thing, except it's done online, right? Like it's time to start taking yourself a little bit more seriously as a business owner. And the fact that if this is what you want to be like for your life, then you've got to create that dream. I think I just wrote it on a post there. Like, are you someone who would rather put in the work to like work and get paid to build your own dreams? Or would you rather just clock into a job and get paid to build someone else's? Because you're either an employee or you're an entrepreneur. And not everyone is made out to be an employee and not everyone is made out to be an entrepreneur. So just figure your shit out, get right with yourself, come on to our level because there's lots of room here at the top with us. We don't have to stay on top of you. Like, we can run together as business partners, like I said. And that's, I had one more thing to say, but it came and then it just went. And I don't want to sit here like, what am I going to say? But anyways, it'll come to me again and I'll post it later. But so that's pretty much it. The 5 reasons of why you're not reaching your goals. And the biggest one is just that you're not doing the behind the scenes work. You're just really not doing it. And that's about it. That's all I got right there. It's just a quick one. Just felt a little fired up to say that because sometimes I need that wake up call too as well. Like, I get into funk still where I unplug more than I need to be, but I know that I will never ever stop because of everything that I have earned for myself so far, everything that has gotten me to where I am so far. And I just know that this is the only thing that can create the life for myself that I want to live. It's the only thing. Like, I can never, if I worked at like a retail store or something or back at a physio clinic, I would never have control over my life like I do now. I would never have control over like what I earn like I do now. Like, we do have a lot of control with this business, which is really, really amazing. It's different like anything else you'll ever be a part of because it all comes down to you. It's the ownership, and that can really scare people or excite you. So you just need to figure out which one it does for you and go with it. All right, cool. Does anyone have anything to add or any questions or anything that they want to chat about? We got time here. Yeah, go ahead. Unmute yourself. Drinking wine. There you go.
Okay. So, I have one girl in specific. So I've got like 6 conversations going on, and so I'm like really pumped about that. All really like within the past like week and a half. They just came out of nowhere. But, like, lots of good stuff. But I have this one girl. So she was my first coach. And like when she signed up, she was so pumped. She was good, and like she got everything. And now she's not in that same mindset. It purely for her. She takes good care of herself. And
is this a cupcake one still?
Yes. And so like, and I saw her at the shows this weekend. She's a dog handler too. And like, I'm like, oh, hey, like, how's the shakes going and stuff? And she's like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, and we kind of talked about how she should start with the shakes, like slowly introduce them, like, like baby steps, because like, she's like, yeah, like if it gets too much, like, I won't do it or whatever. I'm like, okay. So like baby steps. But like when she signed up, she was so like, I feel like crap about myself. I know I'm not taking care of myself. But she's lost that. So I'm kind of like, I don't know how to kind of like re-inspire without, making her feel bad about herself, kind of a thing.
The one thing I would say is, do you have her in a challenge group with you?
No, well, May
Or she's
6th is
gonna be
when
in
we
it?
start, Chloe, Steph, and I start ours. But she's even like, she's not even like, she's not trying at all, basically.
Yeah. Did
Uh,
you like talk to her about getting into that one?
yeah, and I mentioned it, and it's good because it's after a big dog show she has in the beginning of May, so she totally could do it. So I think
Yeah.
she just like, I think like I need to go like even like more base, like be like, um, like why isn't she taking care of herself? I mean, her and I have the same job.
Mhm.
She has a kid, but we have a lot of the same responsibilities. But it's just about, I've really learned it's about making the time for it.
Yeah.
Not having the time for it, and she's just not making the time for it. And she's my dear friend, so it's like,
Yeah. I
in
think you guys need to you need to have a one-on-one together so that
yeah,
because you're friends, yes, but you're also her coach. So she's
yeah,
coming to you for help, right? And our job is to be the people who believes the person who believes in people when they can't believe in themselves, right? That's what
right,
I always like to say. So I think you are perfectly like it's not overstepping bounds or anything, making her feel bad if you just say, hey, listen, I care about you. I really want this to work for you. So I want to help you. Is there something else going on? Is there a reason of why you don't like
yeah,
call it like remind her of her goals and say you wanted this, and this, and because of this, and this. Did things change? Is there something going on that like maybe like let me know how I can help support you?
right,
And then I would say like have that conversation with her and get her into a challenge group because then you can tailor your posts to her without singling her out. Like in your challenge group, her goals so you can speak to those goals but without actually like saying it right to her
right.
kind of thing. What do you think, Allison?
I would say, for one, like you cannot exhaust yourself, like whether they're a friend or not, do not exhaust yourself on anybody who doesn't do your challenge group. Because I think to date, I've had like 12 people purchase a challenge pack. Some of them even continue getting Shakeology for a few months and then they never do it. And it's heartbreaking. It like tears your heart apart because I never want anybody to purchase something for me and be disappointed or not get the results that they wanted, but realize that people have to be ready. And I was talking about this in relation to Mark because like I've invited him to do these programs with me so many times and he kind of did it for me, kinda, and then he quit because he didn't really want to do it. So it's kind of like, yeah, you can remind her of her why, but she has to decide. Because the thing with like baby stepping, and I tell this to my challengers all the time, I said, do you want me to be honest with you about why you were feeling lack of motivation? And it's really because they dip their, it's like coaching. They dip their toe in, and if you kind of sort of try, you're kind of sort of going to get results. Emily Favre says that all the time. And they dip their toe in, they get half-assed results, and so they keep kind of sort of trying. If they jumped in and just, I said, will you give 7 days even? Like if 21 days is too long, will you give 7 days to where you just like really, really go, like especially like if there's a week that's good for her, like will you really just follow this and prove to yourself that you can? Because that's like the block is that people don't believe that they can. And they keep breaking promises to themselves. And I am just super honest about that, whether or not it's a friend or not. And I say, like never feel like, and I like try to share my struggles too. So once you get in the challenge group, make sure, like for example, in my challenge group last night, I overate like 4 containers yesterday and I had been like on point. And so I was telling them how I felt like a fraud, because I'm supposed to be the coach and Mark did his workout yesterday and all of my people did their workout and I had been skipping mine. I did my workout, but like I overate 4 containers and like I needed to share why. And I think that needs to be a thing that happens often when you have challenge groups, because otherwise like you're the pretty perfect coach and people don't want to come to you
Right.
if they're upset or if they have a problem. And I think just like checking in and making sure like, am I asking the right question? So like, what is your why? Why did you want to do this in the first place? And then what does support look like is something I've been really liking, like Fran said, because support might just be like being there emotionally. So in my challenge group, we started doing, every single day they post about movement, meals, and mindset. And mindset has been the one that really changed and built connection within my group, because it's like I feel like shit today because I went through a loss, or I feel like I'm emotionally eating, or I feel like my body doesn't look good. And that opens up avenues for support and connection and empathy, but it also opens up avenues for like me too. I also don't like the way my legs look. Like, I mean, and I think that can be really valuable. It might not come when you first open a challenge group, but if you're vulnerable like that, people are going to follow suit.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's definitely one thing that like has been really big for me is letting my, like, you guys see me in my challenge group, like I cry in there, like I tell everyone what is going on in my life and let them know that, because it's that whole like, if she can do it, so can I. So that's why I always get mad at you for not sharing all of your travels and how you still do this all while you travel. Like, you're on the road almost every single day, and if you shared how you did it, if you shared why you did it, if you shared how it makes you feel, I think you would like, because right now people are just looking at your pictures and like saying, I want that body, and they're going to buy it and think it's easy, right? Because you're making it look easy. You're not actually sharing your story of how you're feeling. So when you do that, it's that feel, felt, found, right? And people can connect to how you feel, and because they feel that same way. Or, and then like you just, yeah, take out like the superhuman part of it of being like a perfect coach, a perfect fitness person, because your body right now looks pretty darn perfect. So people see that. Like, the only transformation photo you've shared is the one that I shared. And I like, you need to share that, because people need to know that you had a starting point and then you grew through it, and they need to know how you grew through it. And I think by that, like, that's how you get people who are actually like, okay, this takes work, you know? Because otherwise you're just getting people who are like, I'm going to sign up and look like that. And that's never how it happens. It takes work. So yeah, definitely sharing more of your journey and talking about where you were then to where you are now. I think that can help like nurture the people that you're looking for. That's what I mean by that. Yeah.
I have something that honestly, Catherine, that I can ask you that would help me, because so next week, if y'all don't know this, I don't know if I totally framed even, I reached out to like 10 of my, or like all of my coaches, and I said, I'm going to run a group with you guys individually. I want to do it in a group atmosphere. You all know each other and we can do this together. And I had like 8 people say yes. And so I'm going to run a group with them. And I want to, because I've had people try to work it as well. And where people have this disconnect is with social media and is with sharing. So like, why do you, because my therapist says that I don't feel fear. So that I sit with fear very often. If I'm afraid, I just do the thing, whether or not I did or not. And so I just did the thing, and then I felt scared later and kind of vulnerable later. But why do you, like, what holds you back from wanting to like share those things on social media?
It's really, and I mean, especially like with all the personal development books I've been listening to, because I've been like going through, I'm on my 4th one this month, just because I'm able to listen to so many while I work. I really think it's that I'm afraid of showing people that I wasn't like perfect before. And that, like, yes, I was 14 pounds heavier, but you didn't really notice until I lost 14 pounds, right? And so it's like, it's kind of that. And I don't know why really, but yeah, it's just like, I try so hard to be like, I've got this, no biggie. But like when it like, and I'll do the work. I mean, I've been doing it, and I don't care about going to the gym at 9:30 at night after working a freaking 14-hour day. But it's like, I don't want to show to people that it's like, I don't know. It's not that I want to show that I didn't do the work, but I don't want to think that it wasn't right beforehand, So I think that's really it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. It does. Yeah, and it's interesting that you said that, because I'm reading a book right now, 13 Things That Mentally Strong Women Don't Do. And the one thing she talked about was like perfectionism. And that, like, the way you were explaining that kind of reminded me of that. Like, so when you're thinking of doing the act, like, so posting on social media, what would happen? I need to find it, and because it was really good. And I was like lining it up with some of Mike's struggles as well. And it's just asking yourself, like, what would happen if, or like keep breaking it down, and you get to the real root of like why you're scared. And just from like hearing you talk, I think you're scared of like, again, me just guessing, it could be like fear of rejection or fear of judgment, or like that people I don't know, this is me just guessing, but like maybe you're scared to put yourself out there because, yeah, exactly what you said. Like you don't want them to think it was bad before, like because you still haven't accepted yourself where you were before, kind of thing.
Yeah, and like especially I've been really connecting a lot with listening to Mel Robbins' book, whichever one, Take Control of Your Life. That's what I've been listening to right now,
Nice.
and it's a lot. It's like where she's talking about, I forget, but it's like where you have a big change. For her example, or like, you know, someone who's an alcoholic but goes sober. It's like you can't, the role that you're changing into, you're having a difficult time accepting because you're not comfortable in that role, that person that you are, and like the judgment for, and I don't know why. I mean, like I've always, and I think it's always because I've always been kind of like a chill, kind of like low key type of person that I'm not really like, bam.
I'm just in a meeting right now.
But yeah, I think that might be part of it. I definitely don't want to be judged, but like if someone were to do that in person, I'd be like, psh, okay, whatever, but I don't know. But the social platform, maybe it's just because I don't have control over like the situation, I guess. I don't know.
One thing that really helps me is thinking about like my old self, I guess, or like who I was, and realizing, like, thinking about what I used to worry about more, like as far as like I remember looking up certain social media influencers and looking at what they were eating and like looking at the things they were drinking and looking at certain people's, like looking up people's body types that looked like mine and like things they were wearing. And like one thing that always really helps me in my social media is just saying value, 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 value. And so like if you're like so nervous to like accept kind of who you were or like let people know that like that was you, like being able to kind of talk to you instead of feeling like you're talking to other people and that you're the expert and that you have to be the expert, because I feel like it takes us a long time to really believe that, like really talking to like my old self, like what I wish I would have known then. And that really helps me because that way I'm like disconnecting myself from feeling like I'm the expert and I'm telling people what to do. And I'm just telling like my old self, like other people that are exactly like me, like I was. Because if, like if I didn't want people to know that I wanted, like, that I wasn't perfect before, even though they kind of thought I was, like that was kind of a fraudulent thing. Like that's something that you can say too. Yeah. Something you can say that like, I feel like I never wanted to share this because I didn't want people to think that I didn't have my shit together before, because I always have. So, I mean, like that, you can literally journal out all your fears and things and then use them as posts. And it's a really vulnerable thing to do. But if you're doing it in a safe space that's other than social media, and then you can just pocket it into social media, maybe it doesn't have to feel as much like you're on social media.
Right. Right. Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. And it's kind of like, and and I'm really so happy with myself with my consistency for me, right? That that I know I can be consistent for other people as a coach. And like especially like since Fran mentioned the whole leadership thing in our one-on-one call, I thought to myself, I was like, it's so stupid because like I run my own other business. Like I do it without thinking, because I've been doing it for 11 years. So like, I know I can be a leader. I know I can be, a manager, whatever. It's just a matter of, this is a little bit more, personable. It's a more one-on-one, and it's finding people who are not happy with themselves and at a bad time in their lives, and trying to help them and, get them through that to where, where I am right now versus where I was a year ago, kind of a thing. So, and I think it's just me trying to wrap my brain around that it's okay that you have to go through a transformation, right? Mm-hmm. So it's
intimidating. Honestly, it is. Like, that's why I was saying, like, it's easy to do, but it's also easy not to do, because when you go to a job, you just show up for it, right? And like, you go through a training and you get, like, it's more like, a lot of jobs are more kind of like physical kind of works and all that, but this is like emotional type of work. So when you get rejections, when you get objections, all that stuff, like it can really take an emotional toll on you, and it can be very intimidating. But so I know for me, like that's why I always say, like, flip the switch and like take the ownership, and like the fact that it's all on you could be exciting or scary. So I've had to just try and really teach myself that, like, no, this is empowering, this is exciting, and like call yourself for what you are, because that's what you are. You're a leader. You're growing your own business. You're growing your own team. And I think that's one disconnect a lot of people have. And I don't have people do it right out of the gate, but eventually it's like, yeah, you're a leader. It's time to lead. Like, just say it. It's powerful. They'll get there. And even like, I know we're about to get kicked off any minute here, but like one thing I would say is if you're not completely comfortable sharing a physical transformation just yet, I think you at least need to share what you are doing, like your journey of how you are gluten-free, lactose, like you've cut out so many things that people would love to know more about. So I think even just like Allison is huge on giving value. So even if you just make that the value that you give, build up your confidence a little more and share that transformation photo eventually. But like, it's just something you need to show people a reason of why they want to sign up with you. So baby steps, but a little bit like bigger steps.
Angie
All right.
has a really good podcast on providing value, and I can't remember what it is.
Who's that?
Angie
Lee.
The Angie Lee Show has a really good podcast. I can't remember which episode or whatever, but it should say on the title on providing value, and how value has to be the first thing, and then the self. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, great call, everyone. Thank you for jumping on. I will post the recording later. If you have any other questions, you can definitely comment them below. But yeah, so have a great Wednesday. I will see you guys next week. Bye.